So I see this a lot, especially with solo and small law firms, where the header of the website is treated more like an afterthought. On the left here, I've got an older version of a header, um, and on the right is my take on how it could be improved. If you look at the original, it's very familiar, gavel image, templated layout. There's nothing necessarily wrong, but there's nothing distinguishing either. It's kind of cliche. It could belong to almost any law firm. And the thing is, this attorney is very talented. They have a strong reputation. They get great reviews. They're obviously doing very well. But even then, I can almost guarantee a percentage of people who see their Google business profile that looks amazing and clicks through ends up, dropping off of the website. And it's not because of the attorney's credibility. It's because, when someone lands here, it's not very clear what to do. What do? You click the about us. And, if I'm a potential client, I'm usually not here to browse. I'm stressed. I have a problem and I'm looking for reassurance and a clear next step. That's the real job of the header. It's the most important part of the website. It sets the tone for the entire brand in a split second. A lot of people come from Google business profiles. They see your reviews. They start to trust you. Then they click through to learn more. If this old header here is the first impression, you risk losing a lot of your momentum. On the revised version here, I really focused on structure, a clear message, a clear call to action, and trust signals like reviews right away. If somebody wants your background or your story, that's what your about page is for. That's where they can learn, where you went to school, your experience, your values. You want to talk about your family, your dog. That's for the about section. The header's job is different. It's all about, giving the visitor confidence in you, giving them clarity, reassurance, and direction. And that's why I added the clear call to action, the request your consultation button. Keep the space for reviews or review widget. Maybe they cycle through, or you have one review. What you do, you just you want your header to be actionable. You want to reduce friction and not send people clicking around, getting distracted. I also replaced the stock imagery here, getting away from the gavel and the books, and added a photo of the attorney. Nothing builds trust faster than seeing the actual person you might be calling. A gavel doesn't assure people. The books don't assure people. It's typical, stereotypical. You get a nice, friendly face. This guy means business. I trust this guy. Just looking at him, I trust him. It's not about making things flashy. It's about, making the next step painfully obvious to the visitor. You want it to be obvious and you want them to feel comfortable and assured taking it. So if this resonates with you and you feel like your website could be doing more of the heavy lifting at your firm, I'd be happy to help. My contact info will be included in the description. Feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching.